Our reading today is from Matthew 26:17-19. On the first day of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Where do you want us to make the preparations for you to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. Jesus and his disciples are in Jerusalem along with everyone and their grandmother. There was only one place to really celebrate the Passover, and that was in Jerusalem. It's kind of like going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. It's the place to be, but it's crazy with activity. Masses of people who are there to celebrate. Now, I really don't know how these things worked back then, but it seems like they are doing everything very last minute. The Passover celebration, the Seder, is that night, and they don't even have a room reservation yet. But it seems clear that the disciples are looking to Jesus to call the shots. And it also seems like they have a lot of confidence in what he is doing. They know they don't have a plan, but they trust that he does. There's no pushback. So the disciples obey his directions. And it seems to have all worked out. The owner of the house must have said yes, and they start pulling the meal together. So I've been thinking about what it means for me today in my life to follow Jesus's directions, to listen to him and to do what he says. Jesus tells us not to worry. He says earlier in the Gospel of Matthew, "Do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, about your body, what you will wear. Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And which of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your span of life?" Jesus is such a good teacher. He makes his main point that God takes care of us, and then he closes with that last point, that even on the days when my faith is a bit shaky, I can't argue with. Worrying is not going to add anything to my life, not even 1 hour. Today, I hear Jesus telling me not to worry. In the big picture, I hear him saying, "I've got this. I'm going to try to act like a disciple and not push back." What directions do you hear Jesus giving you today?